Most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Well, so far here in Springfield, it's mainly been rain. We've seen a little bit of sleet at the onset of the rain around lunchtime today, and also we've seen some sleet mixing in with the rain this evening. Now here's a look at radar right now, and most of what you see right here is just rain. Even in this area that you see this changeover happening, that's just a mask applied on radar. That doesn't mean that we've got reports from those areas indicating snow, and I doubt that we are seeing really much, if any, snow yet in these areas where you see the blue, but we're probably seeing some sleet in those areas, and that's the case also down in northwest Arkansas. On radar, we just want to point out a couple of different areas. A lot of the model guidance has been hinting going into today and now into this evening that we may see a heavier band of precipitation setting up right here, as above the surface we're finding a front trying to develop. This is a convergence area that can help to generate a heavier band of precipitation. That may be unfolding right now and continue into the overnight hours. That will play a role in snowfall potential in that spot. Also down to the south in northwest Arkansas in that higher terrain, that's an area where we're finding some heavier precipitation and where we're probably going to find maybe the highest snow totals out of this event. Temperatures currently are still in the mid to upper 30s. And really for me, the value upstairs in the atmosphere, it's cold enough for snow. Here at the surface, not quite. We need to see these readings drop maybe another couple of degrees, and then we should see a transition over to some wet snowfall. And then I would expect that snowfall to continue the remainder of the night into the morning hours on Thursday. Taking you hour by hour through tonight, you can see how initially I think we're going to see that snow develop in those higher terrain areas where it's easier to get that temperature down closer to the freezing mark. And then that will blossom and expand across more and more of the area. We should be waking up to quite a broad area looking at some light snowfall. And then as the morning wears on and we get into the afternoon, we're going to have some snow or rain showers across the area. But I think as far as accumulations, really it's later tonight when the changeover happens and we drive temperatures down to near freezing through about mid-morning on Thursday. Once we get past mid-morning on Thursday, I think it's going to be harder to accumulate snowfall because temperatures are going to be going up a little bit, and it's also going to be daytime. And that sun, even though you're not able to necessarily see it through the clouds, is still doing its work. Here's a look at snowfall potential. This is one model that I think has done a pretty good job sort of highlighting. I won't say these are the exact numbers, but it's done a good job highlighting where the heavier snow should occur. And we'll point out Springfield first. In Springfield, looks like generally an inch or less. And I think the likelihood of less than an inch actually increases the further west and northwest you go. Further east, as you get into some higher terrain along Highway 60 east of Rogersville, that's when we start looking at totals of maybe 1 to as much as 3 inches in places like Seymour and Mansfield. And then I think there may be a sweet spot further east and southeast and in northern sections of Howell County, southern sections of Texas County, possibly into southern Shannon and parts of Oregon County, where we could see 2 to 4 inches, potentially locally as much as 5 inches. Notice also as we look further north how sharp the cutoff is. It looks like the cutoff is going to be somewhere around Stockton, east toward Lebanon and into Salem. North of that line, little to nothing. South of that line is where we'll have some accumulations. And I think further south, as we take a look at northern Arkansas, what you'll see is that's going to be another hot spot. Those higher elevation areas south of Berryville, south of Harrison, that could pick up 2 to 5, possibly as much as 6 inches of snowfall. In terms of road impacts, I think later tonight, after we get that snow going, through sunrise tomorrow, we could see slushy accumulations, particularly in areas where I'm expecting the higher amounts. But I think once we get past mid-morning, I think we're just looking at wet roads the remainder of the day. As far as Thursday night and Friday, of course, it would be refreezing as temperatures get down to about 27 here in Springfield. And then on Friday, we're looking at highs in the mid-30s. It is a cold pattern ahead through the weekend. Lots of clouds, too. Can't even rule out some snow flurries at times. Looks like lows in the mid-20s, highs generally in the mid-30s. The cold pattern, though, should begin to ease on Tuesday, with highs up around 50 by Wednesday of next week.
Sounds like there's a lot of things to watch.
Especially the next 24 hours. And then after that, it will get quiet.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jamie.
You bet.
Up next, the story of the last known widow of a Civil War